Sometimes, criminals bite off more than they can chew, and these robbers learned that lesson the hard way. From high-tech security systems to unexpected heroics, these houses had defenses that turned the tables in ways the thieves never saw coming. These movements prove that not every house is an easy target. Number 1. Defend at any cost. When life gives you burglars, grab a frying pan. In Logan Square, Chicago, Jason Williams didn't let a break-in ruin his day. Armed with nothing but his kitchen gear, he chased the intruder out of his home, swinging the pan like a pro. The hilarious footage shows Williams sprinting after the suspect, frying pan overhead, before teaming up with arriving police to end the chase. The suspect was eventually arrested, but not before getting a memorable lesson. Don't mess with a Chicagoan's home, or their cookware. Number 2. Not so fast. A suspected porch pirate in Queens didn't see this trap coming. Tired of having packages stolen, Carlos Mejia decided to fight back by leaving decoy boxes on his stoop, hoping to expose the thieves. Last Saturday, his security camera caught the perfect moment, a man strolling into his yard, grabbing a box, and attempting to cram it into his backpack. The footage, which Mejia shared on TikTok, has since gone viral with over 800,000 views. Mejia explained, "I wanted to send a message to those stealing from others." His clever plan turned the tables on yet another would-be thief. Number 3. Back for more. A pair of porch pirates in Gloucester Township decided to mix theft with a dance routine, and it didn't go as planned. Caught on a Ring camera, one thief swiped a package while the other twerked for the camera before they bolted. However, after the video went viral online, the dancing thief returned to the house days later. Apparently embarrassed his moves had been shared. Adding to the absurdity, they came back a third time, leaving behind one of the stolen glasses, broken. The original package contained baby items and glasses, stolen from a family that had just moved in. Police believe the suspects are likely teenagers and have ramped up patrols to crack down on porch thefts, especially during the holiday season. Their unique approach earned them brief internet fame, but locals weren't impressed. For thieves, it seems bad dancing doesn't pay. Number 4. Teamwork. In Idaho Falls, a relaxing evening turned into a nightmare for Caspian and Isabel. Around 1:30 a.m., after returning from an escape room date, they were startled when an armed intruder burst through their door, shotgun in hand. Without hesitation, Caspian grabbed the barrel, adrenaline in full swing, while Isabel called for help. The intruder slipped on icy stairs during the chaos, losing his grip on control. He tried to come back but fled after realizing the couple wouldn't back down. Police soon caught the suspect, who was later sentenced to prison. These guys clearly used these skills in the escape room dates, and it helped them when their lives were on the line. Number 5. Burglars versus Babysitter. 2 burglars broke into a San Jose home, unaware that Rosie was babysitting her niece. After grabbing knives and searching upstairs, they stumbled upon the pair hiding in the bedroom. Rosie locked herself and Dia in the bathroom, yelling she'd called the cops. The thieves fled empty-handed and were tracked by security footage. Number 6. Caught in the act. An 11-year-old boy, Alan Schneiderman, had just come home from school, thinking it would be another typical afternoon. But as he stepped inside, something felt off. His instincts were spot on when he spotted an intruder rummaging through his house like he was at a bargain bin sale. Instead of panicking, Alan did what any kid facing a strange man in their kitchen would do. He ran in the opposite direction. There was no fight, just a full-speed retreat. The intruder, clearly caught off guard, didn't even get a chance to say hello before Alan was already halfway to the neighbor's house. Number 7. Too confident for his own good. On a quiet afternoon in DeSoto, a man tossed a bag over a fence and made a daring leap into what he assumed was an empty house. He was so sure no one was home that he didn't hesitate to break in. But what he didn't realize was that the homeowner was watching him, not from a window, but through a security camera feed, perhaps with a cup of coffee in hand, casually observing the show. When the thief was caught in the act, he tried to cook up some kind of excuse, as if the homeowner had been waiting for him to knock. But the homeowner wasn't in the mood for a long story, especially one involving attempted theft. Things took a sharp turn when the intruder started throwing threats around, trying to save face. That's when the homeowner hit the panic button, literally. The loud alarm went off, shaking the whole block awake. Realizing he was trapped, and now the entire neighborhood knew his business, the thief grabbed his bag of Christmas gift cards, which was probably his big score, and took off empty-handed. Thanks to some quick thinking, all he managed to leave with was a lesson he probably won't forget anytime soon. Number 8. Fake police. These three men thought they had the upper hand when they yelled police to trick the homeowner, but the homeowner wasn't fooled. Knowing something wasn't right, he fired back. As the trio barged into his home, they quickly realized they weren't dealing with someone easily intimidated. Instead of retreating, they were met with resistance. The homeowner's instinct to protect his space turned the tables, leaving the would-be burglars to reconsider their plans. Authorities are investigating, but one thing's clear. The homeowner wasn't going down without a fight. Number 9. Never gonna give you up. In Pierce County, Washington, a man named Eric Smith woke up to the surprise of his life when he caught a thief breaking into his truck. It was all captured by a Ring doorbell camera as Eric confronted the suspect inside the vehicle. Without missing a beat, Eric chased down the thief and tackled him to the ground. But that's where things took a dangerous turn. As the suspect tried to make a getaway in a red car, the driver backed up at high speed, plowing right into Eric. The impact sent him flying onto the car hood, and as the car smashed into his truck, Eric took a wild but miraculous tumble off the hood. Thankfully, he landed on his feet, unharmed, and the thieves were caught not long after. Number 10. On a dog's watch. Two burglars thought they had the perfect plan when they shattered a back door's glass to enter a home. What they didn't realize was the break triggered a smart security system that immediately alerted the owner. Watching everything live on his computer just minutes away, the graphic designer couldn't believe it when his dog calmly took a treat from the intruders, staying completely silent while they carried out the theft. Number 11. Best intruder ever? Nate Roman came home one afternoon to a surprise that definitely wasn't on his to-do list. His house had been thoroughly cleaned by an intruder. When he noticed his back door was unlocked, he went inside only to discover that someone had tackled his mess and even mopped the floors. "I can smell cleaning chemicals," he said, baffled and more than a little freaked out. Concerned for his safety, Nate called the cops, who promptly told him to get out of the house. Definitely not the usual kind of home invasion. Number 12. Test drive gone wrong. In a bizarre twist on what was supposed to be a simple test drive, a man in Canada was run over by his own Porsche after the woman he thought was interested in buying it drove off with the luxury vehicle. It all started when the suspect, who had been responding to an auto ad, arrived at the man's house. On a seemingly normal test drive, they took the Porsche Cayenne for a spin. The man got out, expecting to talk more about the car, but that's when things took a dangerous turn. Surveillance footage captured the woman in the driver's seat, but she flipped. As the car owner moved behind the SUV, the suspect reversed quickly, knocking him down and speeding off. She was caught a few days later, but the man's going to have a lot of trust issues from now on. Number 13. Break-in, not on my watch.
Stay on your face. Stay on your face, goddammit.
Ray, a Louisiana homeowner, wasn't about to let someone break into his daughter's car without a fight. After learning from a neighbor that an intruder was targeting his property, Ray grabbed his rifle and set off to confront the suspect. To make sure things were on record, Ray went all in, streaming the standoff live on Facebook. While the suspect, now handcuffed, awaited the police, Ray's wife kept the camera rolling. The intruder was charged with auto burglary and attempted break-in, but Ray made sure to teach him a lesson. Being prepared and having the right tools could make all the difference, especially when you've got a live audience. Number 14. Teen vigilantes. In Fort Smith, Arkansas, a group of high school friends turned a typical afternoon into an unexpected adventure when they caught two teens stealing packages off a porch. After chasing them down, the friends made the thieves return the goods and apologized, teaching them a valuable lesson about right and wrong. Number 15. 12-hour shift. In Midwest City, Oklahoma, a burglar spent an entire 12 hours robbing an elderly woman's house while she was away. Barbara Love had been staying at her grandson's place while her home was undergoing renovations. During her absence, a woman showed up and took everything she could, from jewelry to a vacuum cleaner. Fortunately for Love, the entire crime was captured on her surveillance cameras. The footage provided key evidence that helped the police track down the thief and make an arrest. With the help of the surveillance system, the police were able to act quickly and resolve the case. Number 16. Messed with the wrong mom. In Bethany, Oklahoma, a suspected burglar targeted a home, but he didn't expect the fierce resistance he encountered. The man broke in through the back door, but when the homeowner, a mom, returned home, she quickly sprang into action. She chased the intruder out, slamming him to the ground, and even kicked him in the leg while screaming for help. The struggle continued as she wrestled with the man, determined not to let him leave with the items he'd stolen, including a backpack. Unknown to the suspect, her daughter Shannon was watching the scene unfold from 17 miles away at work via the home's Ring camera. Panicked but composed, Shannon called 911, ensuring help was on the way. Number 17. Duty calls. These burglars definitely took making themselves at home to a whole new level. Back in 2016, one thief became known as the Hamburglar after helping himself to a midnight snack at a Five Guys. But fast forward to 2024, and the new suspect took it a step further. Police caught him in the middle of a bathroom break during a break-in. He wasn't just stealing, he got way too comfortable. It's safe to say this burglar wasn't exactly in a rush to leave. Number 18. Bestie. This burglar broke into a house, but before doing anything, he checks to ensure the family dog is safe. The dog happily greets him, and instead of sneaking in right away, the man first looks around to see if anyone's home. Once inside, he spots the security cameras and covers his face before leaving. Interestingly, the dog doesn't seem too worried, more confused than anything, which makes sense since it wasn't a threatening situation. Despite his polite approach, police are still hoping someone will recognize this unusual burglar. Guess even burglars have a soft spot for pets. Number 20. Nightmare. Katie O'Connor was having an ordinary day until it turned into a nightmare when two men and a woman burst into her home. As one assailant kept her in a headlock, the others helped themselves to everything they could find, including money Katie had set aside for school and rent. To make things even worse, one of the thieves was someone Katie thought was a friend, a woman she'd met through playdates. While the criminals ransacked her home, they noticed the security camera watching their every move. They didn't realize, though, that the footage was securely stored off-site, far beyond their reach. After a terrifying 2 weeks, the authorities started arresting the thieves one at a time, all because Katie was smart enough to have camera all over her home. Number 21. Tech savvy. In New Jersey, two burglars made the unfortunate decision to break into a home, and it didn't go quite as planned. The intruders sneaked in through a side door, their faces hidden by hoods, and started roaming the house. But they hadn't anticipated the homeowner's secret weapon, a surveillance camera. When the burglars triggered the motion sensors, the homeowner's voice, coming from the remote security system, echoed through the house. The burglars froze in place and quickly realized their mistake, scrambling to flee the scene, but not before grabbing some valuables. Meanwhile, the family dog, realizing something was wrong, started barking and chasing them around until they ran away. Number 22. When you least expect them. It seems that dinner time is becoming a less than ideal moment for burglars, with a new trend popping up, the rise of the dinner time burglars. In California, one homeowner found themselves in a bit of a culinary clash when they shot at a suspect trying to break in right during dinner hour. Meanwhile, across town in Los Angeles, a group of burglars thought they'd timed it just right for a quick heist. But they underestimated one thing: the homeowner. Armed and ready, the homeowner confronted the would-be thieves, sending them running for the hills. Maybe burglars should start setting their dinner alarms a little earlier. The crooks should be worried about what's on the menu. Number 23. Delayed reaction. In Oklahoma City, where crime rates are notoriously high, security footage captured a burglar breaking into an apartment during the afternoon. The intruder entered through a side door and was met by Dubai, a massive 122-pound Great Dane mix. The man tried to calm the dog by petting him, likely hoping to avoid a confrontation. Meanwhile, the homeowner, a mother with her blind son, was in another room unaware of the situation. Upon hearing a noise, she emerged and was shocked to find the intruder inside. Her immediate scream triggered Dubai's protective instincts. The dog attacked, getting a good bite of his backside, and with his little friend, scared this guy out in no time. Number 24. 2 men versus 1 window. In broad daylight, 2 burglars were caught on CCTV attempting to break into a house, but their efforts were anything but smooth. The security footage shows the duo struggling to open a window for a long time, thinking they were completely hidden from view. However, they were completely unaware that the camera, positioned front and center, had them captured from the start. Their visible hesitation and difficulty made it obvious they weren't as unnoticed as they believed, as the footage clearly shows their every move. Despite their efforts, the whole thing was documented, leading the police right to them. Number 25. Bad timing. This Phoenix homeowner wasn't about to let any thieves have an easy day. As 4 men tried to force their way into the house, they didn't realize the homeowner had already been alerted by a motion sensor. The second the door flew open, the homeowner fired back, catching the robbers off guard. They bolted faster than they could blink, speeding off in a gray getaway car. Perhaps next time, they'll think twice before targeting a home where the owner is so well prepared. Number 26. Woman of the house. In Atlanta, things took a wild turn during a home invasion when 3 armed men decided to break into a house, thinking they'd get away scot-free. What they didn't expect? A woman emerging from a back room, ready to defend her turf, firearm in hand. What followed? A chaotic showdown caught on surveillance video. While the details of who fired first are still a bit fuzzy, one thing's clear. 28-year-old Antonio Leaks wasn't as quick on the draw as he thought. He was hit. The other 2 suspects, perhaps realizing this wasn't their best idea, made a run for it. It's a classic case of a burglar underestimating the homeowner's ability to fight back, and it didn't end well for the invaders. Number 27. Unexpected package. A homeowner narrowly escaped an armed robbery when a suspect disguised himself as a delivery driver. Ring footage captured the moment the man knocked on the door, pretending to have a package. But when the homeowner opened the door, the thief pulled out a gun and attempted to force his way in. Quick thinking from the homeowner, he shoved the robber back, sending him fleeing to his car and speeding off. Fortunately, the robber's crime spree didn't last long, as he was arrested later that week. Number 28. Not today. This homeowner had experienced 8 break-ins within a few months, so he decided to rig his truck with an unusual defense system. He installed a booby trap consisting of a 12-gauge flashbang designed to make a loud bang and release gunpowder to scare off intruders. The trap went off during an attempted theft, terrifying the would-be thief and quickly sending them running. Number 29. 3 Musketeers. A burglar didn't stand a chance when he entered a backyard expecting an easy job. Met by the family's pack of dogs, starting with a massive South African Mastiff, he was quickly overpowered. After a hilarious struggle, the intruder was caught with dog-related injuries and arrested. Number 30. Shiny distraction. A would-be thief thought he had an easy mark in a shiny red car, but the family dog, backed by 2 other dogs, had other plans. The pups relentlessly chased him around, knocking him off his feet and sending him into a panic. Forget the car. He was just trying to escape the dog takeover. Number 31. Safe and sound. In the early hours of the morning, around 3 a.m., 3 burglars pulled off a daring robbery in Washington, D.C. The entire theft was caught on camera. A pickup truck pulls up to the target location, and the surveillance footage shows a man in gray sleeves exiting the passenger seat. 2 others stay by the vehicle, armed with a metal tool. The trio begins rummaging through the truck before they approach a large safe hidden in the shadows. Using various tools, they manage to lift the heavy safe and load it onto the truck's bed. The thieves quickly take off with the stolen safe in tow, but they were still caught on video doing their dirty work. Number 32. All the wrong steps. At 3:43 a.m. in Gwinnett County, Georgia, 3 armed men decided it was time for a little late-night robbery. They broke into a home, hoping to make off with some loot, only to find a couple of roommates in their pajamas. The crooks started rummaging through boxes of restaurant supplies, and one even flipped a light on, making sure the security cameras could get a good look at their faces. The homeowner woke up to the chaos, dialed 911, but then got disconnected. When she stepped out, she was greeted by one of the men holding a gun. After an intense standoff, one suspect bolted through a glass door, while the others took off running. No injuries, no stolen goods, and a very confused group of burglars. Police later found one thief lying outside, shot, but somehow still managing to regret his life choices. Number 33. Sleepover foiled. 2 burglars quietly entered a home while 2 young children slept on the sofa nearby. As the burglars moved through the house, one of them, holding a gun, crept dangerously close to the children. The sight was unsettling for Alvaro, the girl's grandfather, who recounted the terror of seeing the footage. "It really freaked us out," he said, his heart racing at the thought of what could have happened if the children had woken up. Alvaro shared the concern that if either his wife or one of the kids had gotten up during the break-in, they might have been shot. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The intruders managed to steal a cell phone, along with a gun and credit cards, before fleeing the scene. But now their faces are on national TV and the internet forever. Number 34. Get away. It was an ordinary day for a homeowner who was at work, completely unaware that 2 burglars were about to target his home. Then he received an alert on his phone from his Ring doorbell camera. Curious, he checked the live footage and saw a man sniffing around his front door. About a minute later, another person appeared, joining the first thief. The 2 started to scope out the property together. At this point, the first burglar noticed the security camera and pointed it out to his accomplice. But instead of retreating, the first man pulled out a screwdriver and began trying to break into the house. As the situation escalated, the homeowner, still watching from his phone, decided to take action. He shouted loudly, "Get away from the door!" His voice cut through the air, catching the burglars off guard. Startled, they fumbled and quickly ran off down the street, leaving the scene with their tails between their legs. Number 35. Crisis averted. A Covina homeowner narrowly avoided a dangerous encounter, all thanks to his doorbell camera. Around 9:15 p.m. on Tuesday, 2 men appeared at his front door, their faces covered by hoods and bandanas. One carried a chrome revolver, while the other held brass knuckles and a tire iron. The duo knocked multiple times, unaware they were being recorded by a Ring camera, which immediately alerted the homeowner. Realizing the threat, he called the police. However, before officers could arrive, the suspects took off in a white panel van, speeding east towards Starglen Drive. By the time authorities reached the scene, the van and its occupants had vanished, but not before leaving the chilling footage as evidence. Number 36. Mom instincts. In California, Brittany Morse proved that a mom's instincts can turn into some serious heroics when an intruder showed up at her house. It all started when her daughter, Aubrey, opened the garage door and spotted a stranger hanging around. Brittany, without missing a beat, grabbed her gun, kept calm, and dialed 911, all while pointing it at the man. "It's a little overwhelming, but I did the right thing. I protected my children," she said. With nerves of steel, she kept the intruder at gunpoint, making sure to stay calm and in control while waiting for the police to arrive. The surveillance footage shows just how composed she was during the whole ordeal. Tense? Absolutely. But Brittany handled it like a pro, ensuring her family stayed safe, and the intruder got a one-way ticket to jail. Number 37. Not the TV. Imagine you're at work, trying to power through your to-do list, and suddenly you get a notification that an intruder is digging through your living room. That's exactly what happened to Stephanie George. While at her desk, her phone buzzed with an alert from her home's security camera. To her surprise, she saw a thief struggling to drag her TV out of the house. Without hesitation, she decided to step in, via the intercom, of course. A little voice from nowhere startled the intruder mid-heist. He paused, probably wondering if he'd accidentally triggered some sort of invisible force field. But after a brief moment of confusion, he shrugged it off and went back to ransacking her place. Eventually, realizing the gig was up, he ran off empty-handed, leaving Stephanie with a wild story to tell, and an even greater appreciation for her security system. Number 38, Motherson Duo. In Milwaukee, a typical night turned into a real-life action movie for 12-year-old Edmundo Pina. When three armed suspects tried to break into the family home, Edmundo wasn't just sitting around. He heard the noise of the door being kicked in, immediately ran upstairs, and warned his mom, who was just as quick to act. Their dog, likely as scared as they were, started barking fiercely, and the burglars, probably not wanting a full-blown canine confrontation, bolted. Although, they did snatch a laptop on their way out. Mom and Edmundo raced to the balcony, prepared for an impromptu exit strategy if things got worse. Fortunately, the whole tense moment was caught on the family's security camera. Now, the police are on the hunt for the suspects, but the real winners are Edmundo and his mom, safe and sound, ready to take on the next home invasion with extra caution. Number 39, Dad's Yard. In Sarasota, Florida, super early morning, two men tried breaking into a house while relaxing in the backyard, unaware that the homeowner wasn't going to just let them. He grabbed a machete and charged inside. Meanwhile, a third man tried controlling the situation by forcing one intruder under a table. When the homeowner returned with the machete, two suspects backed off, but one got cornered. To make things worse for the thief, the family dog joined in, adding pressure to the already tense situation. The homeowner managed to hold the suspect until the police arrived and arrested him. Alan Beltran Vasquez, the arrested burglar, was charged with armed robbery and sentenced to 20 years. The other three suspects were captured, though one remains on the loose. The homeowner's fast thinking and the dog's backup turned the tables on these would-be criminals. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time. Goodbye.